it's like driving past a car accident. You can, and that's why they call it rubbernecking. You cannot help but just slow, and that's why the traffic backs up. Everyone's slowing down to have a look. It's as much as I say I don't have any interest in celebrities and what's going on with celebrities. There's often these things that just for whatever reason catch and unfortunately hold your attention.
Welcome to the Kingspiration Podcast. This is the place where you'll learn how to get unstuck and gain momentum in your life and business. Each week, we tackle the real aspects of entrepreneurship, personal development, relationships, and fitness. I'm your co-host, Ethan King, from Atlanta, Georgia, USA, entrepreneur, TEDx speaker, and best-selling author of Wealth Beyond Money.
And I'm your co-host, Justin King, no relation to Ethan, from Cape Town, South Africa, entrepreneur, speaker, and business growth strategist. Our journey crosses continents and cultures, sharing wisdom and experiences to propel you forward. Welcome to Kingspiration. Let's start the conversation.
This is one of those episodes where we're just going to have fun and talk about what we're doing for entertainment. What are you watching lately? What are you listening to? And what lessons are you learning from it? So let's kick off with you, Justin. What are you into right now?
It's a well-timed conversation. That's because I actually don't watch a huge amount of television at all. And when I do, it's usually sports. But I've recently got into on Apple TV, watching The Morning Show. So The Morning Show, yeah, it is The Morning Show. So that's with Reese Witherspoon and with Jennifer Aniston amongst it's a really great cast. And it's been absolutely absorbing. And I know it's been around for a while now, and I've actually just got through season 1, but I'm not going to try and link this back to business in any way. But what has been incredible for me, the way this show has been produced, is that it gives a take or a different angle on very sensitive topics. Let me start that again. It takes very sensitive topics and it gives a very different look on them through a different lens, through the way different people may have perceived that very same act. And in particular, a big part of the story and the underlying flow is the whole Me Too movement and the abuse of power by men at times within this type of industry. And it's just been extraordinary watching it from the outside and how an individual who has potentially abused this power feels that they are completely innocent. Then looking at it from how it's impacted the young woman that these incidents happened with, but then in the same work environment, there's another senior man who has been pursued by a young woman. So very much the same final outcome in essence, but very different ways that it's happened, very different feelings of hurt amongst the different people. And it's just been absolutely fascinating. And just, it's made me realize that we so easily and quickly jump to conclusions about who's guilty, who's right, who's wrong. But man, there's so much complexity to these types of things. So it just got me thinking incredibly deeply while being hellishly funny as well. And just the acting is brilliant. But yeah, it's been absolutely thought-provoking watching it.
No, I'll have to look into that. I have not subscribed to Apple TV yet, but I've been thinking about it, and they definitely keep reminding me that I have 3 months free with everything I do on Apple. But it looks like they have some good shows on there.
Yeah, if you do, the first one that I would watch is Shrinking. That is outstanding. Such a great, that really is an outstanding series. So when you do, give that a watch, and then let me know what we can have another riff and see what you think about it.
Yeah, most definitely. So for me, as far as the entertainment goes right now, I'm not really watching anything, but I'm going to go in a different direction. I have found that I've spent way more time than I want to spend with this Kendrick Lamar battle. I don't know if you've heard about it if it's made its way over to South Africa yet, but it is right now all people are talking about in the US. So you know Drake, right? The rapper. And are you familiar with Kendrick Lamar? He's a West Coast rapper. Okay. So these guys have been releasing songs like every other day. They come out with a song going at each other. and it's gotten pretty vicious. And they're going after each other's families and talking about their children. And Kendrick Lamar is accusing Drake of being a pedophile, and it's getting intense. And I'm like, why? I don't even understand why these guys are going at it. First of all, so I'm going into this rabbit hole, and if you go on this app, there's this app called Genius, and it shows you the lyrics to every song, not just rap songs, but songs from all genres. It really breaks down lyrics, and then you can click on the lyrics and get the background information, kind of like a Wikipedia for song lyrics. And if you look at it right now, the top 10 songs on Genius are all either Drake or Kendrick Lamar, and it's all of these battle rap diss songs. And there's this whole history behind it, from the past 10 years about who did what to who and what girl they're fighting over, and so said this in this song. And I'm like, man, I have spent way too much time listening to these songs and investigating why they're coming at each other. But also, here's the lesson, or a few lessons that I've drawn from it, are that, one, people they will find a reason to root for whoever they're a fan of. They will justify it. Two, it's human nature to tend to root for the underdog, or whoever you perceive as the underdog. And I think in this battle, Kendrick Lamar is the underdog because everybody knows Drake. He's a worldwide superstar, right? So I think people want Kendrick to win. But it's also, whatever you do, when you achieve a certain level of fame, whatever you do can be taken and twisted around and kind of exposed to make you look bad. And they're bringing out all kinds of stuff, like they're accusing Drake of having plastic surgery and to get his abs, all kinds of stuff. So it's been an interesting thing. I hope you don't get sucked into that rabbit hole. But if you're into rap music, it's definitely the main thing going on right now.
Do you think there is any chance that it's just a publicity stunt?
I don't think so, because I don't think Drake needs it. And it's getting really personal. And you can tell there's some deep wounds there on both sides. And I'm not saying that Kendrick Lamar needs it either. They're very different style rappers. And I just think that there are a lot of personal wounds that are being uncovered. And honestly, it's interesting. Part of rap history is the jabs going back and forth, but usually more in a musical type way. And because it started out, I have a lot of knowledge of this because one of my clients is one of the originators of hip hop music, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. We do their jackets and stuff. So it started out with battle raps 50 years ago, where it's like, you're just kind of rapping about, I'm the better rapper. And then, I'm sure you all know what happened with Tupac and Biggie in the 90s. That started out as a battle rap and ended in deaths. And then now, I think it's fun to an extent, but when it starts to get too personal, it's not as fun anymore. And it's like, okay, guys, come on, chill out. Let's keep it light. Let's remember what we're here for. And I really wish that they would get back to that. And at this point, I'd like to see it come to an end. But it's been accelerated by the internet, because back when Tupac and Biggie had their beef, it took a while for you to hear each diss song. It took a while to get to your ears. Yeah. But now Kendrick Lamar literally released a diss record an hour after Drake. They just come out online, back to back, because that's the speed of the internet. They'll just put them on SoundCloud, on YouTube, or whatever. So that's an interesting thing to notice, the speed of entertainment these days.
Yeah, it must be exhausting, though. Also having to do that on their side and on their part, and nobody wants to give an inch now as well, because then you feel like you're conceding, or you're taking a step back, and are you going to look weak? I suppose to a degree I've been pulled into a little bit of Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. So Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney are boxers, and they had a fight about 3 weeks ago, and Ryan Garcia has always been this up and coming, a young superstar, but an influencer. He's got something like 12 million followers online, on Instagram, and that's been his main thing. Never won a world title, whereas Devin Haney, proper boxer, has a world title, undefeated. Ryan Garcia had one loss. And they came into this fight, and there was a lot of back and forth, and that's the thing. I'm never quite sure, particularly in fighting, is the battle that's going on prior to, is that to sell seats and to buy eyeballs? I think it is, but this has lasted long after. And anyway, Ryan Garcia was drinking. He was downing beers at his weigh, and then he didn't make weight, but then he's still allowed to fight. And he it just wasn't allowed to win the title bout. And he ended up beating Devin Haney, and he knocked him down 3 times. But then 4 days or 5 days after the fight, it's come out that Ryan Garcia was on these performance-enhancing drugs. And so now that's continued the debacle further down. And it's like driving past a car accident. You can, and that's why they call it rubbernecking. You cannot help but just slow, and that's why the traffic backs up. Everyone's slowing down to have a look. It's, as much as I say I don't have any interest in celebrities and what's going on with celebrities, there's often these things that just for whatever reason catch and unfortunately hold your attention.
That's exactly what it is. It's rubbernecking. It's driving past the accident. And it's a human phenomenon. The reason we do that, it's a self-preservation tactic. It's a survival instinct. We can't help when we drive by an accident to look and see what happened, because it's our brain saying, hey, you look at this so you make sure it doesn't happen to you. And I wonder if it's kind of the same thing going on with this voyeurism with celebrities, especially when it comes to these battles in the fighting world. It's an age-old thing, and it is publicity and promotion that to get butts in the seats, right? I'm fascinated with the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight. Yeah. Exactly. Who are you rooting for there? What do you think is going to happen?
I want Mike Tyson to knock Jake Paul's head off. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, me too.
And again, we actually shouldn't, as a sporting contest, it shouldn't hold any interest. But I am interested. I want to see what happens. But I shouldn't, because it's no.
I wonder if it's because we identify with one side or the other more, so it makes it personal and makes us care. Because I feel the same way. I'm like, I shouldn't care. I don't know either one of these guys. But I grew up as a kid. I was watching Tyson in his prime, knocking people out in 8 seconds. And I mean, it was just like, I was like, man, that guy is vicious. I had a lot of respect from him as a kid. Like, that's what a tough guy is. So I identify with him more. And now I think that I identify with Tyson more, not just because of my connection as a kid, but because he's an old guy. And I'm probably closer. I don't know. I have to look it up. I'm probably closer to Tyson in age. I don't know. But I kind of want the old guy to win the fight and prove that he still got it.
I agree. And what is interesting here is that, to your point, we might feel that we identify with one or the other more. It's actually also just a case of either loving one of them or absolutely hating one of them. And I think we spoke about the courage to be disliked a few episodes ago. Jake Paul has got the courage to be disliked in absolute truckloads. And a lot of what he sells is off the back of that, because he realizes, okay, people that love me, that's great. But there's also a power in making tons of people virtually hate me, because if they hate me, they're going to watch this as well, because they're going to want me to, my response, want me to get my head knocked off.
Yeah.
And if you love Tyson, you're going to show up because I need to root for my man. Like you said, I grew up watching him, and it really is interesting. There's so many different ways that create this captivation for the audience in one way or the other.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think it's fun to take these every once in a while, just riff on pop culture and what's going on, and in lessons and inspiration we can draw from that and apply to our lives. So it's been a good one.
Yeah, it's been a good chat. Thanks, Ethan.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Kingspiration. We hope this conversation sparked insights to ignite action in your life and business.
We're on this journey together, sharing our challenges and successes to help all of us take the next step towards building momentum and ultimately reaching our goals.
If you found value in today's episode, please share it with someone else who might benefit and leave us a 5-star review.
And remember to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on our weekly conversations. Until next time, keep rolling, keep growing, and keep being inspired.